Good afternoon. First of all, I want to say my appreciation as well on a very personal level to all of you who are here, the organizers, but in particular to all of the young people. This is what it's going to take. So it's very inspiring and it's very hopeful to see the young people taking their leadership role in this fight. And the reason we can say that is because it's a fight of the generations that has gotten to this point. Our brother just told us. This problem that we have in terms of climate didn't get here yesterday, it didn't get here 20 years ago, and it didn't get here 30 years ago. Why do I say that? Because in the technical term, when the scientists discuss the theme of climate, they use a window of 30 years to describe an epoch wherein they will put in a system to norm. This is a climate epoch, more or less 30 years. We know that this situation here didn't begin 30 years ago, right? The situation we're dealing with here in terms of climate, in terms of carbon emissions, it began thousands of years ago. It began at some point in the human history where the human being decided he was not going to be a good relative in the natural world. He was going to leave his relationship from being one of the kinship of Mother Nature. You see the tree. What do they have to say about climate? You see the grass. You see the clouds, all of these, you see the creatures of the natural world. And I ask you a simple question, young people, relatives, are they not also nations of the Mother Earth along with us? Where was it written down? Where was the law put in place? Where was the Governor Ducey of the day when he said the human being is going to decide everything, going to be the decider for the climate of this planet? Is this true?
No.
If you believe this is true, that's where the problem is. If the human being believes he's going to be the determiner, the decider for the natural world that we have around us, guess what's upon us? We now are in the very era of climate, not just change. We are in climate chaos right now. That horizon isn't over there. It's now here. When you can have 3 Category 4 storms, typhoons coming across the Pacific Ocean at the same time. It never happened before. There was never even Category 3s before. It went from 2 to 4, exponential. So what am I saying? We have to do the same. We have to build this movement exponentially to get not only to Paris, to get back to where we should have been all along. What am I saying? Tupak, Enrique Acosta, I am a member of the original nations of this territory. This state here, Arizona, this government, this is an immigrant government. The climate didn't stop at the border. The climate doesn't stop at the border, ni going this way or that way. And guess what? We, the Nicantraca, the original nations, we never put that border there. We never asked that border to come here. We still abide by our traditional, original laws of nationhood, of being of Mother Earth, that says, as nations of Mother Earth, we are all equally responsible for the well-being of all of life. Not just our humans, but all of life. And in that responsibility, we have the right to a say on how the policies of government are going to impact the environment that we are all responsible for. Why? Because in the climate justice movement, in the people's climate movement, I'm going to say it. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. There's no they. It's all us. Am I right?
Yes. Right.
In the climate movement of the people, there is no they. It's all us, because we're all going to drink the water. We're all going to breathe the air. We all need the Mother Earth to be safe, and we all depend on the atmosphere and those 4 elements, the water, the earth, the wind, and the fire. That's the constitution of indigenous nations, not just in Arizona, not just in this continent, but around the world. And I ask you, young people, look at yourself too. Where do you stand on that understanding? You stand with us as the guardians of Mother Earth, the original nations, in defending the territorial integrity of Mother Earth and her well-being for the future generations. You stand with us. If you do, then when we get to Paris and beyond Paris, you will also be participating in this movement for justice. And justice, we're not talking about justice in a Judge Judy courtroom. This is not about justice. This is talking about having an equilibrium in the natural world, of being at well-being with the natural systems of the earth. And this is who we are as indigenous nations. We welcome this message once again. This is the fight that we've been fighting all along, since October the 12th, 1492. And did I say Columbus Day? No, I did not. I said Indigenous Peoples Day. So we want to have justice in terms of climate externally. We've got to have justice in terms of climate internally. I'm talking about cultural justice. Our cultural climate is so important. Read this book, young people. I'm going to close with this. It's a recommendation. There's a book called Bird on Fire. Have you heard of this book?
Yes.
Pick that book up, Bird on Fire. There's a reference in that book to Cochabamba, Bolivia, where the World's Conference on Climate Change and the Rights of Mother Earth took place. I was there. We have delegations right now in Bolivia talking to President Morales about how we're going to take our agenda forward to Paris. But in that book, it talks about the issue of we cannot aspire to have a people's climate justice platform at the state legislature if we have social injustice in our neighborhoods and our communities. If we don't have social justice in our neighborhoods and our communities, and that means 1070's got to go. That's what that means. 1070's got to go, we want this. Just to reinforce that point, all of these issues of justice are interrelated, interconnected, and if we're going to have justice with our climate, we have to have justice with ourselves. Is this not so?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your kind attention.